Now, you might not be so familiar with GSMA. Not that many people are, but for sure you are very familiar with our members. We're a member-driven organization, and we are working extensively with all the mobile operators. So the Telia of the world, the Vodafone, the MTN in South Africa, the China Mobile, and Mr. Lee's Hutchinson, we work extensively with them as well. So that's roughly 800 or so members. But we also represent the wider tech industry. So the Google, the Facebook, the Ericsson, the Nokia, etc. And we drive and represent and talk about strategic issues for the ICT sector, technology issues and standardization, and public policy and regulatory activities. So you might now wonder, why am I here? Why is this guy here from the ICT sector? Well, if I collect all my subscribers, all the mobile subscribers that we have globally, I come to a daunting number of 5.1 billion individuals. So we touch 5.1 billion people every day out of the 7 billion or so on this planet. So if we are to succeed with, like the Crown Princess says very elegantly, the Sustainable Development Goals, I'm convinced that the mobile operator community need to be part of it. 2 years ago, we were the first industry, I believe, as a whole to commit to these 17 SDGs. And ever since then, we measure the impact of these goals. So every year we issue a report called the Mobile Impact Report. And it's quite interesting and good feeling to see that we're actually doing good progress on all 17 goals. There's not one goal that is ICT sector specific, but actually ICT as children is part of all 17 goals. So we're doing good progress in number 4, which is quality education. Of course, children. Gender equality, number 5, good progress on that as well. And 13, which is climate, we're doing very well. And you know, the 17 goals, they aim to end poverty, combat climate change, and fight injustice and inequality, all done by 2030. So it's an awesome task. Maybe I should also say that's goal 16, which is peace, justice, and stable institution, and specifically 16.2 is actually the one who is targeted children specifically. So we're working with that as well. So what do we then do? If we take from that big picture down to what is the mobile community actually doing? Well, a couple of years ago, we launched something called the GSMA Mobile Alliance Against Child Sexual Abuse Content. And if you sign up to that alliance as a mobile operator, you need to do a couple of things. The first is that you need to share experience and share best practice globally. Number 1, beside that, is that you need to be part of and securing that there is a hotline established in each and every country where you are present. So if you stumble across a site with illegal content, where do you go? Well, you need to report that to a hotline. And we work with the mother of all hotlines, or the curator of hotlines in Hope, to make sure that we have such a established hotline in each country that we are present. That's number 1. Number 2 is that we also need to have a process and procedure. If you come across illegal content on the internet, a site, what do you do then? Well, we need to have a notice and a takedown service that is stipulated and that is secure, and a process around it. Otherwise, we might risk of not being able to secure enough evidence, or we might spill illegal content across the internet. So the notice and takedown service is equally important. And we work with our dear partner UNICEF with that, which is a very good partner. I'll come back to that a little bit later. So that's number 2. Number 3 is that we also need to establish a helpline in each country, and to help the counselors become better in receiving calls and guide people when they call in. So that is what we do. To date, we have 60 global operators signed up to this alliance, and they have an awesome reach of 1 billion people. So it is actually being proliferated very nicely. So a couple of maybe more detailed examples of what the mobile industry is doing. Let's go to Africa, in Tanzania. where there is an issue of having an identity. That's not only in Africa or Tanzania. The World Bank has stipulated that there is roughly 1.1 to 1.5 billion individuals globally that does not have an identity. And that is specifically big issue with children when it comes to them going to school or having a relationship with governments, etc. You need to have an identity. And in a future world where everything is connected, you for sure need to have an identity. So the previous process was that a newborn or a mother with a newborn child had to go to 4 different government institutions. It took days to get this identity, whereby mothers instead just skipped. I don't have time for this, I have better things to do. Today, Millicom, the Swedish operator, have since several years back launched a mobile app basically, where you register your child online at one hospital and it takes roughly 20 minutes. And through these 5 short years, they have managed to connect 1.7 million children to have a digital identity or an identity. And I think that's a tangible result that an operator like Millicom has done. So if we go further east to Myanmar, the biggest operator there is called Ooredoo. They have launched an app called May with healthcare activities for mothers to be and newborn mothers, or mothers to newborn children, to discuss healthcare issues, what is happening with my body before the child has been born, what should I do with the child once it's born, etc. With the awesome reach we have the ability to reach out to far distant villages where the healthcare might not be up to standard or might not be present at all. So that's another example. But it's not only the developing world that is a target when it comes to the SDGs. And I think that's the beauty of the SDGs. It is actually developed market as well. So if we take the step to the US, there is a growing concern of something called the homework gap. That is that families do not have enough money to connect to the internet at home. So children today, they need to do their homework and they do use their laptop or their mobile phone to complete their assignment. And I don't have anything at home, hence the homework app. So Sprint, one of the mobile operators in US, are taking a leading position when it comes to the 1 million project, where they're giving away free devices and free service to 1 million low-income household students in the US to try to bridge that homework gap. So those are a couple of examples, and I have a whole bunch of other examples, but I don't have time to go through them here, but I can certainly do that. So what do we think is the key success going forward, where we believe in partnership? We think that forum like this, and I would like to thank Ulf and the Global Childhood Foundation here or Global Child Forum for curating this type of event. We do need to have more partnerships, and partnerships with law enforcement, with governments, with regulators, with the public sector, as well as the private sector are key for us. And I would like to also highlight the partnership we have with UNICEF, where we're doing exactly that. We're trying to raise awareness of online child safety, and we're doing it in Latin America, in Africa, and in Asia. Maybe I should just end with saying that I'm happy, sort of happy, with the progress that the mobile industry is doing towards achieving the SDGs, the 17 goals. But for us to be able to achieve them, and by the way, it's only 4,700 days left to 2030. So I would be needing to pull up my socks here. We all need to pull up our socks and really get cracking, because it's not that many days left. We do need to work together strongly and have more industry sector commitments, because this is all about creating scale and making a sustainable impact. Thank you very much.